I am showing you the wrong game. It was part of a joke I had written before this joke, which I'm rating on screen for comedic effect. It worked, right? You're not just awkwardly staring at the screen, right? Okay, game review. Okay. Castlevania Dracula X on the Super Nintendo. Through the Wii U. Through the Wii. Under my GameCube. In my shelf. It's good. That's not to say it doesn't feel like a lesser product compared to Rondo Blood. But if you didn't spoil yourself, then it makes a strong first impression. You see, what you do is you play Dracula X and then you play Rondo Blood immediately after. Things will only seem better that way. A similar strategy applies to Lord of Shadows too. Most games will look pretty good after that. I don't want to spend the rest of this review comparing these two games, so the last thing I'll mention is the difference in sound quality between these two. Now, it's quite clear that Rondo Blood is superior on a technical level here, but Dracula X has a nice punchiness to it in my opinion. The limited hardware of the Super Nintendo just makes the drum, synth, and bass a lot more harsh, but in a way that I like. I'm most likely just biased though. The Super Nintendo is my favorite console after all. Okay, we're going to try and not mention Rondo Blood from now on. Here we go, from now on. If you've ever played a Castlevania game from the 80s, then much of the game design here will be very familiar to you. Richter is equipped with a whip. It's powerful and it has a good reach, but effectively using it on every enemy, that gets tricky. These skeletons are easy enough, but what about enemies that are above you or below you? Or the ones that appear when you're jumping? This leads into the importance of sub-weapons. Want to kill this bat? Here's the axe. Want to clear the way ahead? Here's the cross. The levels are, for the most part, tightly designed with an emphasis on complementing the sub-weapons and their various effects, but there are a couple of sour spots. This guy here is sour spot number 1. This pink guy camping on these stairs. Like, I can't go up the stairs because he's blocking the way. I just have to hope the game has him move to the side so I can go up. His behavior is completely random. Like, in this clip here, everything's fine. But in this one, nope, he ain't moving. I guess this behavior does add some zestiness to the game. Will the enemy cheat this time? Find out halfway up this tower. So you're thinking, just use the sub-weapons. Well, our pink friend here, he has a way of dealing with those, so no. Okay, it feels crazy to dedicate this much time to this one guy, so it's time to move on. There are two paths you can take in this game for the good or the bad ending. There is this middle of the road ending, but it's very likely you're not going to get it. It's a bit impractical to go out of your way to get that ending. And plus, who wants the middle of the road ending anyway? You're either getting the bad or the good ending, depending if you know what you're doing or not. And speaking of knowing what you're doing, see this part right here? This is the hardest part of the game. Not this. Not this. And surprisingly, not this either.
A Delta P situation.
It's this stretch of hallway right here. And that's because if you fall down, you get forced in the bad ending of the game.
When it's got ya, it's gotcha.
And you think, oh, I can just die and go back and try again. Nope. The only way you're getting back to this point is by resetting your Super Nintendo and playing through half of the game again, which is a 20 to 30 minute process for most people. I'm sure some speedrunners would scoff at that time, but 20 to 30 minutes would be a reasonable estimate for getting back to this point at a casual skill level. Also, that's not to mention that once you do get past this hallway, you have to collect this key, which effectively robs you of a sub-weapon, fight this boss, and then get through the next 2 levels without dying. You only have to get towards the end of this level without dying, but still, god damn. This one particular portion of the game makes this the hardest Castlevania game for me, and not in a good way. Memorable though. But geez, I did say it's good. So let's focus on the good again. These controls feel nice. I don't care what Castlevania 4 fans have to say about it, that they have a problem with it, that it's stiff. Just because the controls are stiff, that doesn't mean it's bad. It's integral to the game design. It makes it that much more satisfying to kill your enemies in the end. And lastly, what I have to say about the graphics? They're pretty. I hear a lot of complaints about how the palette is a bit too garish compared to other Castlevania games. It's a bit out of touch with the style of the series. But at the end of the day, it's to people's taste. I consider it pretty gothic in a more saturated fashion. Most people would dismiss this as a Castlevania game made by Konami's B team, and I wouldn't doubt that being the case. Regardless, it shouldn't be dismissed as an inferior port of Rondo of Blood, because that just ain't what it is. It's addicting, challenging, exciting, and most importantly, fun. It was released at a time when people were expecting a faithful sequel to Castlevania 4, and for that, I can see why it still stands as a sour note for longtime players. Well, I'd like to thank you for watching my video, and if you liked it, then consider giving a like. I feel that's a fair statement, and if you really liked it, then consider giving me a subscription. I'm halfway to 100 and I have plans. I like to close off this video by giving credit where it's due for assets and such, so here are their names. Read them with reverence. Again, thank you, and I hope you do have a great day.